Good morning, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talk Sunday stream of consciousness. How's everybody doing this morning? Great to have you with us. We welcome everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Thank you to all the groups that allow me to share the show later on. Kind of share at a different time. Our views dropped a little last week, and I think it's I didn't share the show until Monday. So we'll do a better job of doing that, getting that in. But thank you to John Gonzalez from the Sports Authorities, Greg Rawlings from America's Pastime, The Love of Baseball, Flo and the gang at Bottom Line Sports. Check out their podcast. Good stuff. I like to share some of it. It's been sporadic because Flo's been deployed, and he'll be back here in the next month or so, I believe. They also, and thank you for your service, Flo, for sure. And they do their podcasting on Let's Talk Sports, who's also a good friend of this show. Ken Krause at Sports Buds, Sports of All Sorts, and all the groups that allow me to share, whether they're baseball related, football related, NFL, college, whatever it might be. Great support from you guys, and we really appreciate it so much. And also check us out tomorrow morning with Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook at 8 a.m. I'm sure Jack and I will have plenty to talk about from the games that are being played today, and probably argue a little bit more about Daniel Jones, which maybe we'll talk a little bit about today. I'll get to your comments and your good mornings in a second. Some of the stuff we can talk about, big college football day. Clemson done. Dabo talked this week about how the fact if they're tired of winning, it seems like they are tired of winning because they keep losing. I think we learned a lot about Texas Tech and Indiana yesterday. Miami dominates most of the game. They fell asleep for about, 15 minutes. They dominated Florida, and Florida's got a tough schedule the rest of the way. Arch Manning, a nice game. You're going to tell me they played Sam Houston State. I get it. He's having a crisis of confidence. This was a great game to maybe get him started again. Not telling you he's winning the Heisman. I'm telling you to relax about Arch Manning and stop blaming him for being overhyped. Not sure what. I get some music playing yet, don't I? What else went on yesterday? Nebraska doesn't win in a big spot again at home. They got to win that game. They lose to Michigan. Michigan runs for over 300 yards. Notre Dame rebounds and wins against Purdue. Telling you right now, you heard it here first. Notre Dame will make the playoff if they run the table. Belichick loses again. Lots to talk about in college. Pros, it's backup quarterback Sunday. There's 5 or 6 backup quarterbacks playing today. We'll look at our pool results. We'll give you our picks. Talk about the tush push if you like. Kansas City, are they in trouble? They need to win today badly against the Giants. McDaniel in Miami, what a mess. And Daniel Jones. It's only 2 games. I get it. Jack Hirsch does not want to give him any credit. He's playing really good football. Baseball, Cal Raleigh continues to set records. There's one more in his sight. I don't think he's got enough games left to do it. Interesting call between him and Judge for the AL MVP. Stanton and Trout hit milestones with home runs. Clayton Kershaw's retirement. First ballot Hall of Famer without a doubt. Tigers on the brink of an epic collapse. Playing horribly. Mariners are rolling. You got the team formerly known as the Indians rolling, the Mariners rolling. Who else? The Marlins. Even the Yankees are playing pretty good. Bad. Tigers, Blue Jays, Mets. Mets almost ready to blow this whole thing. Let's see who's out here with us. Guys, it's your show, though. Bring your comments. I'm running off of you. So bring it. Hello, CA. Good to have you with us. CA, our Midwest, Southwest correspondent. AC, good morning. Good to see you with us, my friend. Hope you didn't jump on the Nebraska Big Ten wager. Good morning. Michael Dighton Edwards, good to have you with us. Check out Michael's latest column. I posted to TGI Sports Talk on Friday, I believe. It's also on my private site. I shared to some groups. Follow Michael. Good stuff. Rick Sherlock up in Amsterdam. Good morning. Congrats to the Canes. They look good for, Florida is a mess. Not one first down yesterday, by the way. Not one first down. That one touchdown drive. Miami didn't play. Beck did not play well yesterday, but they ran the ball well. I mean, you look at the stat lines, they're not, except for the time of possession, first downs. I mean, Miami just dominated there. And the defense was good. Florida's schedule the rest of the year is outrageous. They play every ranked team, all the ranked teams. Not every ranked team. It shows that every team they play is ranked. It's going to be a tough year for Billy Napier if he survives. Chris F. Grave, our Canadian correspondent, gives us some fish names in baseball. Trout, salmon, bass, all great players. All good players, I'm sorry. Honorable mention to Steve Laker. Steve Trout as well, by the way, son of Dizzy Trout. Famously was traded to the Yankees from, I think, the Cubs mid-season in the 90s. And Steinbrenner said, I think Billy Martin at the time, take your pick who the manager was. But he said, I just won you the pennant. I think Steve Trout went like 1-9. Alan, congratulations to your Sooners yesterday. I did mention them in the rundown. I should have. Good win against Auburn. Great pass rush, put great pressure on Arnold. Listen, I think Jackson Arnold had a much better game than you think he had, Alan. But at the end of the day, you got to win the games. I think Jackson Arnold's developing as a thrower. He's a tremendous runner. But Oklahoma wins a game they have to win at home. Similar to Nebraska. Oklahoma, if they have aspirations of competing in the SEC, had to win this game at home. But I will tell you, if they don't start running the ball better with somebody besides Mateer, who's a great player, I would put him in the Heisman lead today. I think when the new odds come out this week, you'll see Mateer with the best odds to win. But they need to run the ball better than they have so far. The SEC is just going to be a monster, as always. Hello, Paul Spada. Notice how I got the two names correct that I've been getting wrong for forever. Paul never corrected me on his name until last week, and now I'm calling him by the right name. Paul Spada. Michael Dighton. Anyway. Kids today, they're only going to know players through parlay bets. That was it. Or fantasy football or fantasy sports. Right? And you can bet parlays with individual player performances. So you're probably right, Chris. It's kind of sad. I mean, listen, speaking of sad, Clemson's effort yesterday, I'm going to tell you something. Couple of takeaways for me. Clemson isn't that good. Dabo's way isn't going to work. And if Dabo wants to keep coaching at Clemson or somewhere else, because he'll get asked about this when he moves on, should he move on, I think he will continue to coach the Tigers. But, this whole building from within thing that he wanted to promote, that the way to do this was recruit. And when you got a veteran team, you'll win. He's got the veteran team that he wanted, and his way's not working. He's got to dive into the portal. He's got to get bigger into the NIL. The program does, and he does. He's got to buy it. I don't like it myself. But if you're going to play on a level playing field with everybody else, you have to do what they're doing. And even with that said, this team's biggest problem, their cornerbacks are terrible. Their defense is not as good as it should be. But the biggest problem in this team is the quarterback, who's a third-year starter. Clay Klubnik was, one of the highest, most talked about players for the Heisman before the season started. We talk about Arch Manning playing badly up till now. He played really good yesterday with some swagger. I know I'm not a big fan of taunting and things like that, but I guarantee you Sark was a little happy yesterday. When he got in the face of that guy in the end zone yesterday. because I think he wants to see that swagger and confidence back with Arch, and I'm usually fine with that. So Michael's not usually fine with that, but I am fine with it in this situation. Certainly different than the penalty Michigan's cornerback had. I can't remember, taunting the Nebraska sideline. They let Nebraska back into that game yesterday. Dark horse for the Heisman, even though he sounds like a pharmaceutical name, is Bo Pribula. That's the is that the Vandy quarterback, if I'm not mistaken? Sunday mornings. No mornings does my brain work that well. If that's what we're talking about, and you can tell me, Michael, I'm not going to look it up. I love Vandy. Vandy rolled yesterday, by the way. LSU, FSU, Texas, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, they all roll yesterday, as they should. Vanderbilt's going to be a tough out. Auburn's blaming officiating. Stop. Listen, I like Hugh Freeze. I like Auburn's team. I think Oklahoma was a better team yesterday. You don't blame officials. I'm so sick of sports fans blaming officials. It's ridiculous. Or is there bad officiating? Sure. As I will tell you, and I will never stop telling you because I'm 100% consistent on this point, do not play badly enough that you allow the officials to cheat you out of a game. And I don't know that they did yesterday. You should not be put in a position to get beat that way. If you put yourself in that position, you have nobody but to blame but yourself. So Auburn fans, shut up. Alan, congratulations on a big win for Brett Venable and the Sooners. They got two nice wins at home now with Michigan and Auburn, and all of these will matter if they don't make the SEC championship game. That will matter in looking for an at-large bid into the playoffs. So good job. Team will remain in the top 10. By the way, speaking of really teams showing me something, Indiana and Texas Tech yesterday. Texas Tech spent $55 million, a lot of it on that defense, which has historically been bad. It's really good. Their pass rush is one of the best in the country. And that whole defense played very, very well. The Utah offense was putrid. Tough place to go win a football game, though, under any circumstances. So kudos to Texas Tech and McGuire, their coach. And Kurt Signetti says, all I do is win. Just Google me. My mind goes back to that press conference when he was introduced as the Indiana coach. 63-10, they beat Illinois. This isn't Sam Houston State or Little Sisters of the Poor, A&T. 63-10. It's a really good football team. And all phases of the game. Rick Sherlock likes to talk about special teams, as he should. They're very important. And this team just dominated Illinois, who was ranked 9th in the country, in all phases of the game. Shows you what polls mean, right, Michael? Oh, Missouri quarterback. Right. Thank you. I'm trying to think. It's similar. I think the Vanderbilt quarterback's name is similar. It's like Pavetta. You know me and names. Good job. Michael Gott, good morning over in the UK, or good afternoon to you, I guess. Hope you're having a great day and you get some good football games over there today. We'll do our picks in a little bit. New England's got Pittsburgh today at home. Their dog, Christian Gonzalez, out. Not a good sign for the Pats, but that's fine. We're going to win this game. In the final stretch of the season in baseball, teams out of contention are relaxed and dangerous. It's funny, Chris mentioned this on the MLB update. I'll give you a little shout out here, Chris. He had talked about that the Blue Jays should not take the Royals lightly, and that night they went out and got demolished by the Royals 20-1. It is dangerous playing teams out of contention. I mean, they're playing some kids from the minors. They're taking a look at players who got nothing to lose. I got a little pixelation going on here. I apologize. Listen, the Mets are on the precipice of blowing their their playoff opportunity. I'd be shocked if they didn't. There's 7. Everybody's got, I think, 7 games left, right? The Tigers, this is a epic collapse. I mean, it wasn't even, it feels like 3 weeks ago, maybe less. This team was 9.5 games up. They got a 1-game lead over the team formerly known as the Indians today. They've won 10 in a row. Would you please? I got a cat that won't get out from under my feet. And she's old, and I don't want to hurt her. So the Indians have won 10 in a row. The Tigers have lost 5 in a row. And it's worse than that. They've been playing terrible for 2 months. The Astros blew their lead. The Mariners look really strong now. Right now, it's the Astros. Even I'll leave the Mariners in there, I guess. There's 7 games left, 2-game lead. Not undoable, obviously. Astros, Mariners, Indians, Tigers, Red Sox. 5 of those teams are playing for 3 spots. Michigan looks sloppy and undisciplined. Won on talent alone, not fundamentally sound quality football starts. You know, they won because of their offensive line. They opened up some humongous holes. They ran for over 300 yards. So from a fundamental standpoint there, they looked really good. Defensively, undisciplined. Raiola wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. I mean, he was good. But Michigan kept letting them in the game in my mind. It was only a 3-point game at the end, and the onside kick, if you watched it, Michael, your heart had to be in your throat because I thought they had a great kick. They couldn't have asked for anything better, and I really thought the Nebraska on the kickoff team, Nebraska player was zeroing in on that ball as it started to go up. But good job by the special teams, Michigan there, by the way. Michigan, again, you run for 300 yards, you're going to win most games. They've really kept Bryce Underwood, I think, under wraps a little bit, throwing the football and let him run and take advantage of his athleticism. I think they'll probably open that up a little bit more as they go through the season and he gets more comfortable. They don't have a tough run through the Big Ten. They don't play Oregon. They don't play Penn State. I don't know if they play Indiana or not. But this is a team to be reckoned with, and I didn't think they were going to be that good. This is probably a team to be reckoned with in the Big Ten. Just take a quick look here. Wisconsin at USC, that's a tough game. Washington, Michigan State, Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland, Ohio State. You couldn't have an easier run than that. USC's playing good football right now. Sorry, Danny Fuller. Handled Michigan State at home pretty well. I mean, is there any reason? I mean, at worst, they should go into the Ohio State game with 1 conference loss. And 2 overall, potentially. They're a potential playoff team. I didn't think they were. SEC also made a statement the officials need to be held accountable. There was a horrible call on the one play, Alan, you have to admit, on the play where the guy was pretending to be leaving the field. And listen, Bill Belichick has tried all these things, so I know. The receiver tried to feigned leaving the field and then stopped and then lined up with nobody out on him and wide open. You can't do that. That kind of deception is not okay. But you got away with it. So again, don't. At the same time, I will tell you, I will be hard on officials. You have never heard me, and I've been doing this show for 5.5 years now. And I can tell you in my previous 55 years of watching sports, I have never once blamed an official or officials for my team losing. I'll say it was horrible officiating, but it's not why we lost. You cannot put yourself in a position to get beat by the officials, ever. You got your first win of the year last year, Michael. Good job. I did too. Michael's Marnox. At least you won't go winless all year. I'm in like 3 leagues, and the others have money involved, and I have got a lot of work to do to figure this thing out to get back in. I like my team in TGI Sports Talk, I think. But the others are a little rough. We'll go through the NFL. We'll go through the NFL slate here in a little while too, and I'll tell you where we stand with all of everybody's scores. The college, by the way, let me give you a quick rundown of our college pool, real quick. Not a lot of big scores again yesterday, by the way. Danny Fuller led with 70. Boston Paul with 6. Brian with 4. 6. Myself with 6. And then the rest were in the 5 and 4s. Scott Kobe, I hope you pop in today, by the way, just saying. And for the season, that leaves Boomer Sooner, which is Neil Bush. Oh, no, that's Allen. What am I talking about? Beamer Ball and Allen are tied at 23. Beamer Ball is Neil Bush. The J Train, James Martin, is third, I should say, with 22. Brian and I are tied at 21. Danny and Michael come in at 20. Now I figured out who FWP is after I've sold 5 times. Thank you, Michael. Rick Sherlock is at 19. Boston Paul's at 18. Our generic ESPN fans are 15 and 11. Scott Kobe has 70, but only 2 weeks picked. So he spotted us 2 weeks. It's not working out very well. Kenny did pick this week and got 4 correct. So anyway, there's our rundown of our college pool before we forget. Paul Spada. Pavia, thank you. I was close, right? Pavia. As far as names go with me, I'm pretty close. You got it. If I'm in the ballpark, you got to give me some credit. Yeah, there you go. Diego Pavia. Nice player, man. Small, but a spark plug, though. I love watching this kid play. Gonna lose their coach. I know he's a hometown guy, but if he continues to have the type of success he's having now at Vanderbilt, I don't know if he's going to stay there. CA throws out Texas Tech. Listen, Coach McGuire, this is a good football team. They've spent on this team. They're ranked now. They went to a tough place to play. What were they, ranked 17th? I think Utah was 16, if I'm not mistaken. It's a tough place to play. Plus, it's a 10 a.m. local start due to TV and Fox. Brilliant scheduling, by the way. But no excuses. The defenses were both dominant in the first half here. I think both teams turned the ball over 2 times. 2 times. I'll get it right. But Texas Tech's defense came to play all day. Utah could do nothing. They couldn't run the ball. Their dual threat quarterback, who's not that big, did not play well. Threw a couple balls up there. I'm like, what are you doing? So very nice win for Texas Tech. They did lose their quarterback, but the backup quarterback played better, at least at the end of the game, and Utah could have been worn down. But they scored a couple of late touchdowns to pull away in this game, but a very, very good victory for Texas Tech. Anze Kopitar, in his final season, I believe it's 17 seasons with the Kings, he's not even 40. And these guys start playing when they're 18, right? We wish him luck. Yeah, all 17 seasons with the Kings. I mean, we don't see that enough today. Jack and I have talked about it a few times on on our shows. Clayton Kershaw, I'm really happy to see that he did not leave the Dodgers last year, that he will retire this year as a Dodger. Clayton Kershaw has been an exceptional pitcher. There's not going to be another pitcher that maybe wins 200 games. We went through this on the MLB update. Some of the names thrown at me were, it's crazy to think these guys are going to average 15 wins for 10 or 12 years. It's not going to happen. They don't allow you to be in a position to win enough games the way pitchers are today, or pitchers are handled today. So Scherzer, Verlander, and Kershaw are maybe your last 200-game winners, maybe ever, if things don't change and turn around. Things tend to be cyclical in sports, but there's no end in sight to this way we're managing pitchers. And Chris, I won't go off on that today. First ballot Hall of Famer. Not close to being unanimous, by the way. It doesn't matter. More guys should be spending their entire careers with teams. We don't see that enough. Aaron Judge likely will. I'm trying to think of some other guys that are going to spend their entire career with one team. Maybe hockey, it happens more. I don't know. How about the Rangers? The last 20 years. Guardians, something like 20-5 since August 26th. It's been a lot of teams have been very streaky this year, right? The Guardians, one of them. They had a nice run, not quite this good, 2 months ago, and cut into that lead, and then lost about 9 or 10 in a row. Rangers have been the same way. The Rangers now have lost 6 in a row, I think, and have pretty much ended their playoff chances. I'm interested to see if Bruce Bochy continues. Two older guys I think to watch as far as maybe retiring as major league managers this year are Bruce Bochy and Snitker in Atlanta. Oh, see, I got to put this one up. Anytime I get a North Dallas 40 reference, it goes up. Mac Davis, Pride of Lubbock, Texas. That was such a great movie. And it was fun to try to figure out it was written by who? Was that written by, was that Gent? Peter Gent? Or was that, Peter Gent, I think, wrote that book. Or was that the other football book? I'm going to say Peter Gent wrote that book. But it was loosely based on the Dallas Cowboys. It was easy to see the coach was supposed to be Landry. The quarterback was supposed to be Dandy Don Meredith. Not really sure who the who's the act. Nick Nolte played a wide receiver. Not sure who he was supposed to be theoretically, but some of them are composite of players, right? But it was a great movie and a great book. Great book. You had the first game, Rams and Eagles. That's a big one. Listen, I like the Eagles today, but this is a bigger game than you think, because this could come down to helping decide who has home field advantage come playoff time, depending on how the records and tiebreakers hash out. You got the Cowboys and Bears, which I think is a good matchup. The Bears, I like the Bears to win today because I think they need to get their head out of their collective butts. And even their coach said their practice habits are not indicative of a team ready to compete for a championship. He called them out in a press conference. Hopefully they've practiced better since then. They need a win badly. They're 0-2. So I like the Bears today, which I'll talk about. You'll see in my picks. And the Chiefs desperate for a win at the Giants, who are also desperate for a win. Giants played really good football last week on the offensive side of the football. Their defense, which was supposed to be approaching elite, left a lot to be desired. So anyway, you got a couple of good games, 3 good games, I think. Oregon rolls over Oregon State. Oregon State's terrible this year. Again, couple weeks. right? Or is it this week? When do you get Penn State? This week or 2 weeks? Oops. Bear with me a second. Sorry, Penn State next week, 7:30. NBC. Oregon goes to the whiteout in Penn State. Going to tell us a lot about both teams. Oregon finally plays somebody. I think it's a good football team. Plus, I like what Dan Lanning had to say about some other things the last couple weeks about his locker room. It's a great team. The agonizing slow death of boxing. Anyone have a clue off the top of their head who the next heavyweight title match will be? I do not. When the most talked about guy in the heavyweight division is a guy who's a YouTube creation, I have no idea. For a long time. I mean, 40 years ago, I was a huge boxing fan. 30 years ago, I was a huge boxing fan. But since the days of, Mike Tyson dominating the division, it's been a disarray. It's been awful, the heavyweight division. And the lower weight classes have been where all the juice is. And even there, I don't follow the way I used to. I'm trying to now, doing the show with Jack 2 days a week. I want to be up on the boxing a little bit better, and I promised him I would be. Not that he asked, but by the way, Jack is hoping to get a book out that he's written about Michael Spinks. So we hope he finds a publisher for that book soon, because I'm looking forward to reading it. Jack's a really good Hall of Fame, prolific boxing writer. Terrible in college football picks. Everybody did better this week. Well, I guess you did, Paul. We'll look at the pros in a second. You'll get a chance to redeem yourself this week. Oregon, Penn State will be fun to watch for the neutral. It's going to be a big sweat. Listen, everybody knows how I feel about James Franklin. He can't beat teams in the top 10 or top 20. It's like 4-21 against ranked teams. I think he's got one win against the top 5 opponent. He could be seeing a top 5 opponent next week. A top 10 opponent at minimum. But Penn State's a lot better. They haven't played anybody either, to be fair to Oregon and Paul. And I'm not saying Oregon's not good. Just saying I don't know yet. I mean, the other teams, the team I root for has played teams that are good and won or better. All the other teams at the top of the polls, except Penn State, have played teams that I can say, wow, they played somebody and beat them. Watch Indiana jumping up closer to the top 10 this week. What a dominant performance against Illinois. But anyway, back to this Penn State game. They are better. They've got better weapons at wide receiver. They've got a running game. This is what they have not had. They had Drew Lar and very few weapons for him to throw to. And he's a really good quarterback. This is a monkey that the program, I'm sure the players feel it when they hear about their coach. Their program has not won against these caliber teams since this coach got here, your coach. So it's a big game it's a bigger game for Penn State, I think, than it is Oregon, quite frankly. But again, I picked Oregon to win the Big Ten. So tells you what I know. Chris, is there a TGI Sports Talk Fantasy Hockey League? If Chris wants to start one of you doing, Michael, I'd be happy to lend my name to it. I wouldn't even know how to play. But if somebody wants to run it, I run the pick'ems. CA, with great gratitude, takes care of the fantasy football. If somebody wanted to start a fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball, fantasy hockey, fantasy soccer, I'm happy to participate. But just start it up and we'll share the links on the show and on the site. So you're welcome to do that. Duck pin bowling now available in nights. Chris, you're killing me today. Chris, I didn't listen to your message yesterday. Can I play it on the air? I didn't listen. Hang on a second. I'm going to listen to Chris's message real quick. I saw it, and I had people around, and I didn't know what you might be throwing at me, so I didn't listen. Hang on, let me listen. It's only 14 seconds.
Do not disturb. Unplug the phone. Shut the blinds. Take a little towel and stuff it underneath the bottom of the door. That's right. Keith is watching college football.
I gotta play this. Hang on. This is your best voice. This is one of Chris's voices. I think this might be Chris's real voice. Please don't sue me.
Do not disturb. Unplug the phone. Shut the blinds. Take a little towel and stuff it underneath the bottom of the door. That's right. Keith is watching college football.
That's kind of true. Don't bother me on a Saturday. Chris, you're the best. I love it. Thank you so much. Here, let me give you a little thumbs up on the way out there. Jack calls them legacy players. Well, that's a good call. I like what he. I like that term. I mean, it's a place where Jack hasn't gone around the bend yet. We don't get enough of these guys, right? Who was the last guy, for example, Rick, Minnesota? Who's the last real great legacy player who retired from the Vikings that only played with the Vikings? I can't even think of the last guy. I mean, I don't know if I got to go back to Fran Tarkington. I'm sure I don't. I mean, he had really good players. Tommy Kramer. There's got to be somebody I'm not thinking of. I'm trying to think of. And it's probably an interior lineman or something, right? There's the guys tend to spend a lot of time with one organization. I mean, again, a guy who was a difference maker, somebody that everybody would know his name. I can't think who it is. Paul. It was cool that Matt Stafford was at Kershaw's last start at Dodger Stadium. I did not know they went to high school together, and I didn't see the story. That's pretty cool story, too. They do look a little alike, I guess, with beards. Note they look shaven. But that's a cool story. Listen, Kershaw's had a great career. He's had a really good year this year, and I'm sure he'll start in the playoffs. So who'd have thought before the season, right, that we'd be looking at the Brewers with the best record in baseball. And congratulations to Christian Yelich, by the way, for a 100 RBI season. Very quietly. He was a superstar. He was one of the superstars in the game. We thought he was done. He hurt his back a few years ago, had a couple down seasons. His last couple of years have been really good. But who would have thought they would be the best record in baseball, and the Dodgers would be playing a wild card round? They're not a wild card, but they're playing there. They get healthy, they'll still be tough. They're going to get all 3 games at home. So Falcons have put out that Kirk Cousins is available to anybody interested, but for the right deal. Listen, who's going to I mean, I like Kirk Cousins. I'm not a big Michael Penix guy. Played pretty well so far, but I don't know that Kirk Cousins is done. But you're not getting, a bunch of 1s and 2s for Kirk Cousins. I think they're trying to take advantage of the fact that there's teams out there looking for a quarterback right now. I read an article yesterday in The Athletic that the Vikings might be sniffing around. Carson Wentz is playing for them. We got backup quarterback Sunday today, right? Mac Jones, Carson Wentz, Tyrod Taylor, Jake Browning, Marcus Mariota, all starting today. So I think they're trying to take advantage of this market right now where they think teams may be desperate for a quarterback. Listen, all these guys can play capably for a short period of time. Mac Jones played really well last week against the Saints. Carson Wentz wasn't terribly didn't play really well for the Redskins while he was there, but had played well in Indianapolis before that. Tyrod Taylor, not a big fan. Jake Browning had a winning record with Cincinnati the last time Joe Burrow went down. Marcus Mariota, not a fan, but he did win a couple games last year at the end of the season for the team formerly known as the Redskins. Do you remember The Paper Lion? Absolutely. I remember the book. It was a book written by George Plimpton, who Alan Alda played him in the movie. And it was a true story about a writer, Plimpton, who went to the Detroit Lions training camp, and he actually played in a preseason game. Seeing Alan Alda in pads was interesting, but it was an interesting movie and book. Good catch here, Michael. I love the references to old movies. Hulk Hogan made more movies than Led Zeppelin made albums. That'll get your spit in your Fruit Loops crusher. I don't know how many albums that Led Zeppelin made. And I'm not sure how many movies Hulk Hogan was in either. I do understand that my boy John Cena, I'm not a big wrestling fan anymore, got his butt whooped by Brock Lesnar yesterday, though. I've come to like John Cena movies. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. He's not winning any Oscars, but they're fun. Phil Pulver, good morning. So he tells me the fat bastard was inducted into New England Patriots Hall of Fame in 2025. Well, some of us still hate him. Is that true? Because I don't remember this happening. Checking out some news now. He was. Son of a gun. Him and Julian Edelman. I did see Edelman. I did not see Bill Parcells as part of this class. So good call, Billy. Let's see who else they brought in here. I got to find an article I can read here. I knew Edelman was going in. Let's see. I think there's 5 of them. Are you shitting me? Can I read anything here on the internet without buying something? I'll tell you something about Parcells in a second. I mean, I can't see who else. Oh, who else is behind him? I can't recognize. That looks like Ty Law. Bill Parcells. Come on, give me the rest of the names, would you? How hard is it to just give me the freaking names? How about this one? Maybe this one will give me. Boston. Are you kidding me? Every place I go, I get a commercial and buy something. Ugh, nothing. Well, we'll figure out who the rest of these guys are. Starting to freaking irritate me is what you're doing, man. Let's look at this again. Jesus, I got to pay for everything I try to get to. Willie McGinnis was one of them. Julian Edelman I knew about. I still don't see the other guys. Anyway, we won't waste any more time on that. Bill Parcells, great coach. 100% great coach. Never take anything away from Bill Parcells on the field. Bill Parcells is also a really bad guy. Not just because he treated me like a jerk when I ran into him at a bar, but he left every organization he ever left, he left in disarray. He left the Jets in disarray after winning a Super Bowl. He waited so long to say he wasn't coming back that they had to hire Ray Hanley. He left the Patriots in disarray, and he wrecked the whole freaking Super Bowl week by negotiating with the Jets while he was trying to coach a team to the Super Bowl, a Super Bowl win. Should I be happy about that? I'm not going to be, ever. He left the Jets in disarray. We know how Bill Belichick became the Patriot head coach, don't we? Tried his best to screw Bill Belichick, and he couldn't do it. I guess maybe the Cowboys he didn't leave in disarray, but they weren't any good while he was there. Great coach, bad guy. End of story. He'll always be the fat bastard to me. Don't be surprised if two upsets take place in the NFL. Saints over the Seahawks and Giants over the Chiefs. Just a feeling for Michael. I don't feel the same way, but we'll see. Rest in peace to Ricky Hatton, departed. Listen, Ricky Hatton was a really good boxer with a lot of demons outside of the ring. Jack and I talked about this. If you want to go back, Michael, I think you can look at the weekend update either a week ago Monday or the Friday. I don't remember which day we talked about it. We talked about him, Ricky Hatton, a lot. Beloved by you guys in the UK, but he had some demons off the outside of the ring that he couldn't control. But he was a great fighter, for sure. The original itch. It should be ick, I think. Should be the term, right? The popularity and appeal of boxing began to wane when Larry Holmes bludgeoned Randall Tex Cobb on ABC. I remember it well. I remember Howard Cosell walked away from boxing after that night. It was highly watched, and people were appalled and disgusted by what they saw. And after that, seeing Muhammad Ali fight at the end of his career, he was listless. That was the beginning of the end. I'll buy that. I think it was still good through the 80s. Larry Holmes, I think, was a workman-like champion, and the competition wasn't stellar. I think Mike Tyson revitalized the heavyweight division for a bit. But again, I think he was carrying around a bunch of stiffs for the most part. I mean, he fought Larry Holmes, for God's sake. I thought Michael Spinks would give Tyson a run, didn't. Lennox Lewis was a good fighter. Who am I thinking of? Who's the other guy? The guy who fought Holyfield was a good fight. I think Holyfield was the last great champion in my mind. Great fights with Tyson. Great fights with. Thought I'd get the name. Who's the guy Holyfield took the title from? Remember when a guy parachuted into the ring in Vegas? Hello, Anthony. I'm not talking bad about your Ducks, Anthony. I promise you. Trying to talk Paul off a ledge. To be clear, I picked your Ducks to win the Big Ten. I just say they haven't played anybody yet. And the reason I'm saying this is because Paul insists they're not getting any respect because they're only 6 in the country right now. I can't pick. There's nobody that I could drop below them. Maybe Penn State because of the caliber of the teams they played. Everybody else ahead of them has played better teams. I'm not saying Oregon's not good. I just don't know how good. But I do like this team. I love your coach. Yes, Watson. 2 New York Jet coaches are in the Patriots Hall of Fame in Foxborough. We're both the head coach of the Jets, yes. One for only about 20 minutes. And the other screwed your franchise the same way he screwed the Giants and the Patriots before them. Listen, you can worship at the altar of Bill Parcells all you want. But this guy, again, it's not just what you do on the field. When you leave organizations in the disarray that he left these teams, no respect for you. Yeah, so I was calling him the fat bastard long before I sidled up to him at a bar in Saratoga. Georgia played Tennessee. Yeah, I said that. No, I think I said everybody. I think I said everybody above Oregon has played and beaten better competition than Oregon. Was what I said, Rick. I think. If I misspoke, I apologize. Listen, your Bulldogs have played really good football. It's funny. Early in the year, when I was talking about on the college football huddle, when I was talking about teams most likely to fall from the top 10 out of the rankings, I didn't pick your Clemson. I picked Georgia. And they're not out of the woods yet because, I mean, the heart of their schedule is still to come, and it's not going to be easy. They do have Alabama coming up next week at home. Big test for Alabama. It's a really big football game in the SEC. You got to go to Auburn. Ole Miss is playing well. Florida, you're going to kill. Florida's got the toughest schedule remaining I could ever remember a team having with 8 games to play or 7 games to play, whatever it is. Might be more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games to play. Yeah, Texas, we're going to find out whether they're any good soon. Well, Georgia's probably going to do all right. You finish up with Georgia Tech, who's a lot better too, though. Good morning, Mr. Fuller. How are you? Good to have you with us. Beautiful day for Pars. Danny had a good day yesterday. Love Chris F. Grade, the DJ voice. That's the straightest voice he usually straightest. That's probably the wrong thing to say. That's the straightest voice. John Randall, that's a good one. Rick. That's quite a while ago too, right? I just friended John Randall on Facebook recently. I still go and friend a lot of these guys, thinking I will go back to doing some form of interviews at some point. So before you ask. Randall McDaniel, there's a good one too. They played around the same time, no? Randall McDaniel's the most recent. However, currently Harrison Hitman Smith has played many seasons and he'll retire a Viking. There you go. Best Cena film, Blockers. I like that's a good one. I like the last one he did where he was the president of the United States. Can't remember the name of it now. Head of State, maybe. Him and Idris Elba, another one of my. Actually, Idris Elba's a good actor, but he played the Prime Minister of England, and Cena was the president of the United States. Very unbelievable movie, but fun. Right. Best Hogan film, insert silence and crickets here. I would say as Thunder Lips in Rocky 3. Greatest sports star turned actor. Burt Reynolds is not fair. I don't know that Burt Reynolds was a big college star. He played at Florida State. I'm not sure we can classify him as a star, though, Michael. Jim Brown, I'll give you that. I mean, he wasn't a great actor, but you're not necessarily talking about how good an actor they were. You're talking about the biggest stars, right? So I guess Jim Brown. OJ, I guess some will argue OJ was as big a star as Jim Brown. Butkus for sure. Bubba Smith. Bubba Smith. Yeah. So I'm trying to think college guys. I might have to go to Burt Reynolds because I can't think of anybody else. I'm sure there are other guys. Oh, how about Mark Harmon? Mark Harmon started at quarterback for UCLA. I don't know that Reynolds was as big a part of a team at Florida State as Mark Harmon was at UCLA. But I could be wrong, too. I mean, I'm happy to be proved wrong here because I'm guessing I want to find Burt Reynolds college stats. See if I can find them. Should be able to find them. Sports Reference, 1954. Going to give me stats. I only get the roster. Yeah. There's Lee Corso and there's Burt Reynolds. Oh, here we go. He began his career with a 33-yard pass reception against the Georgia Bulldogs. Knee injury forced him to the sidelines. He missed the entire 1955 season following surgery. He returned in 1957, but once again was injured. So his promising career ended. So he did not do much in college. But I can't think of another guy. So I'm going to go with Mark Harmon out of college. Parcells didn't want to just buy the groceries. He wanted to eat them all. If you don't remember the line that Michael's mocking, which deserves mocking, was if they want me to cook the meal, they should let me shop for some of the groceries. Let's remember, this is a guy who was very high and really wanted Rick Meyer and not Drew Bledsoe. Okay? Just saying. And didn't want Terry Glenn. And humiliated Terry Glenn, by the way. Imagine in this day and age if he called, in referring to Terry Glenn one time in a press conference, he said he referred to Terry Glenn as she. Now imagine if he did that in the environment we live in today. Good God. Robert Redford passed away this week. Great actor. I mean, CA just touches on a couple of his great movies. The Sting is one of the best. Brubaker, underrated. Downhill Racer, underrated. 3 Days of the Condor, one of my favorite movies. A Natural, one of my favorite movies. All the President's Men, great movie, great job in there. Butch Cassidy and a Sundance Kid, tremendous movie. I'll give you one of his. It's underrated. Sneakers. Love Sneakers. Fun movie. Check it out. There's Michael bailed me out here. Riddick Bowe. Couldn't remember Riddick Bowe's name. There's a guy who never lived up to his potential in my mind. Riddick Bowe. The parachute fight with Evander. I think he fought and lost Evander twice, right? He's Canadian? Did not know that. Nice. Good catch. Georgia will beat Alabama by 20 plus, says the guy who can't pick better than 50% ever. Well, Rick will be all over Georgia. I'm not counting out Kalen DeBoer in Alabama just yet. I don't know yet how bad that loss to Florida State was. I mean, if Florida State is as good as they've played the last few weeks, just beating up, lower tier teams, we'll find out how good they are in 2 weeks when they play Miami. If they play well against Miami, if they beat Miami, well, that loss isn't so bad for Alabama anymore. And that loss doesn't really hurt them as far as their playoff chances. I mean, it doesn't hurt them in the SEC, obviously. They haven't got a loss in the SEC yet. We'll find out how good or bad they are soon. I don't know how bad that loss is, and it's an opening week game. So, and I'm not excusing it away. They played terrible. But I need to see how good just how good Florida State is before I really bet. And Alabama can make their own statement next week by beating Georgia. Looking at some people maybe haven't commented yet. Flo is out there watching. Hi, Flo. How are you? Again, thank you for your service and protecting this great country. Daryl, Scott, Arjun. Looking at some people. Feel free to comment, guys. This is your show. There's a quick good morning to Captain Danny Fuller. I don't understand the captain, my captain thing. Maybe you can help me out here. Or maybe it's a secret society I don't need to know. Please don't get me in any trouble. Idris Elba, one of your favorite. He's a great actor. There was a lot of talk about him being the next Bond, and I'd be okay with that. I think that's kind of gone away now. Now that Amazon Prime and whoever they're affiliated with has bought the rights to Bond from the Percoli family, be very interesting to see what they do with the character. But after Daniel Craig stepped away, Idris Elba was talked about a lot as being the next Bond, and I think he would have been very, very good. By the way, one of the best shows ever in the history of HBO and TV, The Wire. Idris Elba's a big star as shooter. Help me out, Michael. I know you know who he is. I know you watch The Wire. It's very funny. Not for any reason. Oh God! I just thought of a very funny line from Last Man Standing. The Wire's involved in the scene. Oh God! Like you and Carlos, I admit a mistake. I'll admit to a mistake. Carlos, when has Carlos ever admitted to a mistake? McDaniel will play his final year for Tampa. There you go. Thank you, Rick. Nobody would have ever caught you on that one. I don't think you should lump the two of us in with Carlos, though. Hey, Carlos has yet to ever admit a mistake. You can admit one today, Carlos, if you're out there. Hello, Matt. How are you, my friend? Good to have you with us. Your Chargers are playing really good football. I like them today against the Broncos, too. That Broncos defense has not been, we thought they were going to be the second coming of, just 85 Bears, the way people talked about this defense. They've not played that great. Daniel Jones carved them up last week. And Daniel Jones is playing some really good football. I said for a long time, speaking of Carlos, that when and if Daniel Jones gets away from New York, he could very well revive his career and be a decent NFL quarterback. I could tell you he's great. I know tomorrow I'm going to get in this conversation and get in an argument with Jack about, he's not that good. He's a game manager. He's leading the NFL in passing yards, guys. I like Daniel Jones. I always thought he was getting a bad rap. Best sitcom actor that played in college, Harmon. Well, I don't remember Harmon playing. Alex Karras in a sitcom. I don't remember Harmon being in a sitcom. Quite frankly, I know Harmon for a couple of things. He was in St. Elsewhere. And in fact, on St. Elsewhere, I think he was the first TV actor that I know of that had gotten AIDS, and AIDS was a huge story at the time, right? In the mid-'80s, early to mid-'80s. CSI, of course. And he played Ted Bundy in The Stranger Beside Me, a TV movie about the prolific serial killer. Terry Bradshaw. He's a college star. It's a good one. I was actually looking for guys who really didn't play in the pros, so I thought that's where Michael was going. I'm not sure if he was. So my mind went to guys who were really good college players, and I know you probably got to see Mark Harmon up close, Danny. So I was trying to think of guys who had played in college but not the pros. Arnold, if y'all are talking about the broad brush of pro sport, if you are talking about the pro sports, not just NFL, Carl Weathers, that's a good one. Didn't he play Professional football, though? Oh, just the NFL. I see. I said not just the NFL. Carl Weathers would be on the list no matter what. Absolutely. Apollo Creed, Action Jackson. What have I seen him in? I saw him in something before he died. He was in, I think, some series I was streaming. I can't remember what it was. I sat next to Carl Weathers on a plane one day, and you'd think, watching the Apollo Creed character, you'd think he was pretty big, except when he was up against the Russian. He's not that big, or wasn't that big. God, rest in peace, Carl. But I sat on a plane with him from, I want to say LA to Chicago many years ago, probably late 90s. Dwayne Johnson, that's a good one too, Matt. That's a really good one. Not sure how big a star he was at Miami, but he did play on the football team for sure. I'm a little unclear about how much he played, but he was a good he was a good athlete, and went on to the WWE, as we know, and later sorry, I got distracted by something on the news. The hell was I talking about? Oh, of course, movie fame. Again, The Rock's movies are a lot of fun. He's never winning any Academy Awards, but his movies are a lot of fun. Him and John Cena, same kind of actors, right? Rick Meyer. What a blast from the past. What if Meyer was a quarterback and not Bledsoe? Who knows? Because Rick Meyer was terrible. Everything evolves differently, right? From that point. I mean, the butterfly effect is always something that is of interest to me, because you change one little thing, how would things play out differently? So if the Patriots had drafted Meyer and not Bledsoe, then, I mean, I don't know, maybe with some of the coaches that Parcells had around him, then Meyer becomes a better quarterback than he was elsewhere. I don't know. One never knows. You know, maybe he develops to be better than Bledsoe and they win a Super Bowl with Parcells. And Bill Belichick never gets the job. Interesting. I mean, there's so many things have to fall in place for everything to happen in life, right? There's so many ways the Patriots could have never experienced the greatness of Tom Brady if other teams had seen some potential and he went before, the 199th pick. If Drew Bledsoe doesn't get flattened by Mo Lewis, even though the coaches were happy, they weren't happy. Bledsoe almost died, but they were happy that they got to play Brady because they knew he was the best quarterback and they couldn't figure out a way to play him. Redford was a classic for sure. Not crazy about his politics, but he's a guy. I'm not a guy who holds it against somebody, actors. I don't care. I don't care about their political stances. I could care less. I will, if they're a good actor, I'm going to go see their movies or actress. The only one I've ever boycotted movies for was Meryl Streep, and that was because of the way she treated Dustin Hoffman in Kramer versus Kramer, which my wife continues to tell me was just a movie and not real life. But I always hated her after that, and I didn't watch her movies for decades. In fact, I hadn't seen her in anything since Kramer versus Kramer until she became a co-star on Only Murders in the Building. And they sabotaged me with that one. I didn't know it was coming. I don't know why, because I didn't watch it. I was watching it we were like the first 3 seasons we binge because we didn't watch them. I didn't have Hulu, and I picked up Hulu. Great show, by the way. I skipped one here. Sneakers was a great movie, right? Redford didn't make bad movies. He was phenomenal, no doubt. Paul Spada's listening but driving, just in case we wonder where he is. Alex Karras, good call. Redford was once driving next to me on the highway in a red sports car. Didn't he make a race movie? No, that was Steve McQueen. Another great movie with Robert Redford we didn't mention, Michael and Danny in the group, Rick, CA, all you guys are mentioning movies, Matt. The Candidate is a great, great movie. Very underrated, underwatched. I'll watch it every now and again. And it's got the best last line of any movie I can remember. What do we do now? You think the Bears GM is bad or Caleb Williams is just overrated? I know some of our viewers and commenters have their own opinions about Caleb Williams. I don't think the GM is bad necessarily. I think there's talent there, and I think there's a new system in place, and you have to let it develop. But the players have to buy in, and the players have to work hard. And Ben Johnson basically said this week that they don't work hard. That's not a coach. And he, God bless him, he called them out, and he's probably going to do something about it. I expect the Bears to come out and play a lot better this week. I don't think Caleb Williams is a Hall of Famer. I don't think Caleb Williams is as bad as people think he is. Caleb Williams played one great half of football against the Vikings this year. I don't think you can play that well and it'd be horrible. He didn't play that badly last year. And I know, some of you guys are going to think, well, you can't blame the coaches forever. I agree. Eventually, players got to play. But let's not forget, he's played a year and 2 games, and he's had 3 different offensive coordinators, 2 different head coaches. Let's give him a little chance to develop. We don't let anybody develop anymore. They have to be great out of the gate. I'm not saying he's really good, but I'm saying he's not awful. I've seen a lot worse quarterback play than I've seen out of him in my life. And worse picks. Give him some time. Similar to Arch Manning in Texas. At Texas, we want guys to fail. I don't know why. Caleb, a little weird, right? And maybe he'll never get it. Maybe Ben Johnson's system is too complicated for him. That's not blaming the coaches. I don't blame coaches. I'm not saying he's not developing because of bad coaching. Right now, I think he's having trouble adapting to Ben Johnson's system, and Ben Johnson has said he's dumbed it down for him. My words, not his. We throw these guys in, and we expect them to be superstars out of the gate. Not everybody's Dan Marino. Right? Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady when he first started playing. Go back and look at some of his numbers. I guarantee you, and again, I'm going to tell you, this is not a comparison of Tom Brady and Caleb Williams other than to say, go look at Tom Brady's first, whatever. The stats in his first season. They're good. They don't stand out as somebody who's going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Takes some time, and he was winning games. He managed games. Billy Napier called his financial advisor and is trying to decide whether or not to cash in his 401k before he takes the OC job at East Potomac State. Listen, If you're the head coach at East Potomac State, do you really want Billy Napier as your offensive coordinator after watching that catastrophe last night? 30 yards of offense in the first half. No third down conversions all night. That was difficult to watch, man. Stringer Bell. There it is. Stringer Bell. Thank you so much. The Wire. Great series. Anybody has not watched The Wire, you must start watching it after football today. Steve McQueen is my favorite, man. Steve McQueen was the epitome of cool in my mind when I was a kid. Sad. He died at 50 years old. Made some great movies. Was a big motorbike fan for sure, and a racer. In fact, he got to do that in the Great Escape. And he co-starred with James Garner in The Great Escape and Grand Prix, as Michael points out here. But some great movies he made. The Getaway, Bullet, the Thomas Crown Affair, the original version, not the remake. Towering Inferno, which again was more of a, it's a disaster flick. Not a lot of. He's still Steve McQueen in that movie. Just a great actor, and sad that he died at 50 years old. And by the way, one of the best Westerns I still watch from time to time is Wanted Dead or Alive. Josh Randall. Great. Brian Bosworth is a good one because he's become a huge star in Dr. Pepper commercials. That's a good one, though. He did star, didn't he? Wasn't he in some movie years ago, though, before? I mean, when he came back, it took me a few of the commercials to realize that was Brian Bosworth. But he's been really good as the sheriff in Titletown, or whatever they call the town they live in the Dr. Pepper commercials. That is one of the best ad campaigns ever. Ever. Breaking news with the pending hire of Napier as offensive coordinator, East Potomac State is expected to extend an offer to Dabo Sweeney as defensive coordinator. As long as he's not the recruiting coordinator. Oh, it's funny. NCIS, Mark Harmon. Hello, Brian. Good to have you with us. Good show this morning, by the way. Great job. I got to remember to go back and share the full show because I have to stop sharing before I can start this show. So you don't only get the first hour. I should go back and share the rest of it. I guess I can do it from YouTube. I don't know, Brian. Where do you share that to yourself? Where do you share that to yourself from StreamYard when you start the show? So I share it to my TGI Sports Talk page and my personal page while I'm on the show, but I have to stop it, as I said, if I'm starting my own show. But I'm guessing do you still go to the National Streaming Sports YouTube page? Because I know I can share it from there. Harmon, Moonlighting. No, that wasn't Harmon. That was Bruce Willis. Was he on Moonlighting? More drama than a sitcom, I guess. But yes, just college names that ended up acting. I don't remember him being a Moonlighting. I know Bruce Willis, obviously, that was his the vehicle that launched him into stardom. Carl Weathers, great actor, no doubt. Mandalorian, thank you so much, Matt. Great call. I knew I'd seen him in something recently. He was very good in that, too. That's a great show. And from what I understand, it's done. I read articles where they may make a movie to kind of wrap it up a little bit, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any more seasons of The Mandalorian, and it was too short. They did like 7 episodes of like 26 minutes. I watch all the Star Wars stuff. I'm just finishing up Andor, which, if you don't know it, is a prequel to Star Wars and leads up to the Star Wars prequel, Rogue One. It's really, really good. Certainly watched The Mandalorian, the Boba Fett show. I watched Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's one I didn't watch. I can't remember which it was. I think it was about the female Jedi. Harmon played at UCLA. His father played at Michigan. Yes, he did. Ark Harmon's father, Tommy Harmon, right? Tom Harmon. He was a broadcaster, too, I think, on NBC for a lot of years after his playing days. Carl Weathers played Grief Karga, character who he portrayed in the Disney Plus action series The Mandalorian. There you go, where he served as an expediter for the Bounty Hunters Guild and later as the High Magistrate of Navarro. Weathers was a highly respected actor and director, and also directed episodes of The Mandalorian. I didn't know he directed some of those, and was beloved by other roles such as Apollo Creed. Most people are going to remember him as Apollo Creed, right? Yeah, I did mention at the Open that Stanton and Trout get to milestones, 450 and 400. 450 for Stanton. Mike Trout didn't get hurt, hadn't been hurt the way he's been hurt. He might have been at 500 by now. I don't see either one of these guys making a Hall of Fame. I read an article this morning that, Stanton boosts Hall of Fame. Maybe I'm wrong. Boosts his Hall of Fame chances by getting to 450 home runs. I don't feel like Stanton is going to be Hall of Famer. I just don't feel like it. And Trout probably isn't going to be because of injuries. I must be way behind, right? What time is this one? 10:09. I'm not too bad. The butterfly effect. It is so prevalent in everything, but especially sports, for sure. You can apply it anywhere in life, right? Terry Crews, there's a good one. Good one. Brian, Bubba Smith, I'd mentioned, yes. Oh, there's a great one. Fred Dreyer. Actually, we were talking about Michael's question. Well, he said pros and college, yes. So from the pro side, definitely Bubba. And I don't know how I missed Fred Dreyer. Hunter, great show. Also had a couple of very funny appearances on Cheers. John Matuzak. Howie Long, what was he at? I do remember him being in at least one movie. It wasn't Heartbreak Ridge, was it? What was Howie Long in? Please keep sports, music, and entertainment separate from politics. Please just be kind to one another and respect life. Please keep politics out of how we live and interact as a community. No, that's fine. I think it's the way it should be. I dive into politics every now and again here, only when it kind of pops up with some segue from sports, but we don't get into it too much. I mean, my politics are, they are what they are. I don't apologize for them, but I'll never be radicalized. Let's put it that way. And I can separate everybody, right? When it comes, and I've always been able to do this, whether it's politics, and actors, or even sports guys now, because that's happened more. The business side of sports, right? I've been able to separate and from the games themselves, right? College football is a great example of that now. And all sports have been for decades now. I don't get wrapped up in what they make or whatever. I mean, again, everybody in this world is worth whatever somebody's willing to pay you. Whether you earn it, that's up to you. But yes, we shouldn't, there's too much hate as far as if we disagree, we should be able to do that. I disagree. We disagree on sports and walk away friends. We should be able to disagree in politics and walk away friends as well. Might be a little more important in the long run, but I can tell you, once again, in life in general, not just sports, I pretty much live by Billy Packer's motto of I'm never in doubt. I'm sometimes wrong, but never in doubt. That's my credo, and it's in real life too. I've been wrong. I'm very steadfast in the things I believe, but that doesn't mean that other people's opinions are, dumb or wrong-headed. Mostly. In upstate New York, I believe. What's that? I don't know what that is, Paul. If we're on Redford did film a movie in Western New York, I believe, in Batavia. I'm not sure which movie it was, though. The Batavia area. I could be wrong with that, too. Michael is responding to Anthony. I believe Caleb Williams will develop, as do I, and that he will turn out to be a solid quarterback under Johnson, as do I. The Way We Were, he was filmed. That's a good one. Perfect one, Rick. I did miss that, and maybe that's what Paul was referring to. I don't know. I'd forgotten that, though. Great movie with Barbara Streisand. He was in a lot of great movies. A lot of great ones going away. Manning, Aikman. Horrible out of college, but they were given a chance to learn, develop. Just saying. Yeah. And by the way, far worse than Caleb Williams was in his first year. Both these guys and many others. Drew Bledsoe was terrible in his first year. There's tons of other guys we can probably bring up if we think about it. Got to give guys a chance. NFL speed versus college speed, like comparing moped to a Lamborghini. That's a great point. The game itself, I think that's what Michael's talking about, not just individual player speed, right? But the speed of the game, it's just night and day. Moped and Lamborghini, great line. Got to get caught up here so we can do our picks before we wrap up here in about 15 minutes or so. Have you seen the new F1 movie? Not yet. I did hear it was good. It's funny. I haven't been to a movie theater since COVID. My wife keeps harping on me that she wants to get out to a movie, but I don't see any sense to it when I can watch it in the comfort of my home for less money. Even if I'm paying like $20 for it, if I want to pay it, wait for it to be, I could wait for it to be $4 or free. But even if I'm paying $20, I'm paying about a quarter what I pay if I went out to a movie. Apparently McQueen was to play the Garner part in the Grand Prix movie in '66, but turned it down. Interesting. Michael, good tidbit there. Dick Butkus, as I mentioned, good one. Bosworth absolutely did movies, just not good ones. I remember him being in something. I could not tell you what it was. Oops, I'm in trouble. They keep sticking something up in front of these comments. Burt Reynolds turned acting after a knee injury. Like after his first game. Go Lions. I like Brian's Lions today. Or no, I don't. I took the Ravens. Harmon was on Moonlighting. I don't remember that. See, I didn't watch that show religiously. So that's probably why I don't know that. Moonlighting season 3, episode 12, Rotten Tomatoes. How many episodes of Moonlighting was Mark Harmon in? Debuting in season 3. See, I probably watched seasons 1 and 2, and I stopped watching until they got together, and then the show jumped the shark. Mark Harmon appeared near the end of season 3 as Sam Crawford. I guess I remember that name now. Maddie's romantic interest and a rival of David's. Dennis Dugan as Walter Bishop dated, then married Maddie. Harmon starred with Sean Connery in the Presidio. Good one. That's actually a very underrated movie, The Presidio. Excellent movie. I like it a lot. Good one, Rick. I love it when we get into some of this pop culture stuff. Our era. My favorite Star Wars character is Obi-Wan Kenobi, actually. And then it would be Han Solo after that. Stanton, no, but I believe they will put Trout in due to the generation. See Koufax when considering injuries. Yes. Koufax, yeah. It's interesting parallel there, Michael. He's going to be an interesting case. And by the way, his career's not over yet. I don't know that he's suddenly going to start getting healthier. And I feel like almost, again, we were talking about legacy players, to use Jack's term, as Rick pointed out earlier, guys playing their whole career one team. I almost feel like he needs to get traded so that he might get to play in a playoff series someday. Howie Long, about a dozen movies. Firestorm, Grace. I don't remember any of those. That's too funny. Good one, Matt. Wasn't in Heartbreak Ridge, huh? Coach of the Year with Robert Conrad and the Bears organization, about him back from Vietnam and coaching a bunch of juvenile kids. I don't know that one. I'm going to have to check it out. I still got to check out that movie Mike Bass. What was the name of that movie Mike Bass was in that I was supposed to check out, Rick? I never found it. I think Rick said he found it and it was god awful, as Mike said it would be. I've not seen The Bread, but yeah, I haven't either. I will see it though soon. Great call with the Presidio for sure. Merlin Olsen, Little House on the Prairie, and Father Brown, right? I think he starred in as well, which I think was produced by Michael Landon. All good, great stuff, guys. Let me get to the football. Let's get to the football today. Let's get to our all games. We got 10 minutes or so left here, so let's go to the standings. Give you last week's leaders. Wasn't an easy week. That was last week. That was Thursday. I was going to say everybody had 10. The leaders for week 3 was Rick with 13. J-Train, Scooby's suck again. Scooby's will suck again, which I think is Scott. And Bo had 12 each, and then the rest of us had 11 or 10. Our leaders for the season, Rick leads with 250, but he's tied with the Sun God and Kenny, Poppy's picks. Bo, a generic ESPNer, Redskins, which I believe is Anthony, all with 24. And then a bunch of us have 23. I am in 10th place currently with 22, but certainly not out of this, only 3 behind. And the J Train with 21 and Fantasy World Peace is in last. Sorry, Michael. But here's my picks this week, just to be clear. I did have Buffalo on Thursday night. No big surprise there. I like the Packers over the Browns. I like the Colts and Daniel Jones over the Titans. If the Titans are going to win a game, I mean, this could be one they win, but I don't think this is going to be. The Colts are better than we think. Daniel Jones has had pretty good pass protection. He's got good receivers and an excellent back behind him. And Daniel Jones, I think, will continue his resurgence here, and the Colts will be a tough out, maybe all season long, assuming he stays healthy. Vikings and Bengals in the backup bowl. A lot of backup quarterbacks playing today, as I mentioned earlier. Browning will play against Carson Wentz here. I just think Vikings at home. This is a tough pick. I like the Vikings just because they're home. No other reason. Patriots against the Steelers. Steelers favored. Steelers only getting 26% of the points picks here on ESPN. I'll take the Patriots at home. Steeler defense to me has been a big disappointment. Aaron Rodgers, I think, played more like Aaron Rodgers last week. I think the Patriots will get some pressure on him, and they will miss Gonzalez in that secondary, which is not very good. If the Patriots get better protection, I should say the protection was better last week, and Drake May played pretty good football. The whole offense played much better last week. I like the Eagles over the Rams in a game that probably the biggest game on the slate this week, and maybe one that has home field implications come playoff time. Tampa Bay over the Jets. Jets will play Tyrod Taylor. Can't get excited about that. Even with Baker Mayfield banged up and that offensive line of the Tampa Bay Bucks banged up, I think Tampa Bay will find a way to get this done. The team formerly known as the Redskins without Jaden Daniels. And listen, they lost Austin Eckler last week to a Achilles injury that will take him out the rest of the year. That's a bigger loss for this team than you think, because I think he was playing really good football, underutilized last year. But I like the Redskins to pull this one out. I made a comment on the Big Football Show earlier that I was picking the Panthers to avoid the wrath of Sonia, but I do like the Panthers to beat the Falcons today. That's going against the grain big time, according to ESPN, as 94% of the people around the Falcons here. I think that they start to get it together. They started to play better the second half last week. This is a team I thought would be better and win not 8 games. If you're going to turn it around, this is the place you got to do it. I like the Jaguars at home over the Texans. The Texans didn't show me a lot these first 2 weeks. I mean, they don't want to go 0-3, obviously, but I think the Jaguars are sneakily better than we think. I like the Chargers over the Broncos at home. Chargers playing really good football. The defense is really good. Herbert's played well. They run the ball well. This Bronco defense has been disappointing, and I'll take the Chargers in this game. I like the Seahawks over the Saints. Saints haven't shown me enough to show they're going to go on the road and beat the Seahawks. So I'll take them. I'll take the Bears, who I feel like I have their backs to the wall at 0-2, got their asses chewed out by their coach in public and probably even worse in private. So I'll take the Bears over the Cowboys. It could be a lot of points scored in this game. I'll take the Cardinals playing really good football over the banged up 49ers. I didn't like Mac Jones in this situation last week against the Saints. He played really well on the road. At home, he'll probably play okay, but I like what this Cardinal team is doing and how this organization is building this team. I will take the Cardinals over the 49ers. The Chiefs over the Giants, both teams desperate for a win. The Chiefs, I'm not ready to write off yet. I think they'll find a way to get it done today. Listen, they were in position to win that game last week against the Eagles at home, undermanned. And as I said, I do like the Ravens this week against BA's Detroit Lions, again, simply because they're home. That's it. No other reason. So there's my picks. Let's see what else we got to talk about before we get out of here. We got about 10 minutes or so. You got them. So those were my picks. Remember, no spreads involved there, Danny. So last week I was 3-0 on picks. I don't know who I'm picking today. I haven't seen the cigar box lines, and I don't know who I like yet with the spread. So last week I was 3-0. two out of three in college, and we didn't do terribly. Walk in the Woods actually is a very good movie. Defoe, right? William Defoe as a bit of a deranged individual who kidnaps a rich CEO. Great. That's actually a very good movie. Good call, Matt. 720 from yesterday to play with. Nice. Brotherhood of Death, worst movie ever. Thank you, Rick. I haven't been able to find it. You got to tell me where you found it. Send me a link. Oh, and in fairness to Mike Bass, a former defensive back with the Redskins back in the 70s, he said it was a horrible movie. So we're not beating him up. My picks are as reliable as teenage blonde in your homeroom promising to accept the homecoming day request. Best pick of the day to win with the spread. What? I don't know. I haven't seen the real lines I get to play with yet. So let me just look at ESPN quick. Scores. We got to get out of here in a few. So Keith's best bet today. I love Tampa Bay minus 6.5. Interesting. Like the Bears with points at home. My best bet is my best bet was oh no, that was without the points. It's a tough one. All right, Buccaneers minus 6.5. How about that? 2 out of 3 yesterday. Don't bet parlays. I'm not a parlay guy, as I told you before. Would you consider the Bears beating the Cowboys a shock? No, I wouldn't, actually. Michael, I expected this team to be better this year, and so far they're not, as Danny will be happy to point out. We'll try to get there. Good morning, go Bills. Well, they already went, Dave. Good morning, Dave Guyette out in Amsterdam. Good to have you with us. I think Walk in the Woods, check it out. I was better in college picks this week. Yes, you and I think, are tied now. Walk in the Woods I think it's Defoe, William Defoe. Check it out, Matt. I'm pretty sure. Game of the day, I'll take Tampa Bay over the Jets, minus 6.5. How about that? Still alive in the survivor pool, and I think the pick is going to – I don't know who the survivor pool pick's going to be today, quite frankly. Probably should have taken the Bills. It'll probably be the Packers, who I think I've got in there with a placeholder. Could be the Colts. But I got to talk to my partner on that. 150 G's on the line there. Natural is a great movie, for sure. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. I really appreciate everybody coming in, participating. Wonderful show as always. You guys are my heroes. Music tried too loud. You guys are my heroes. You do a great job. Check out Michael's writing on the ESPN. On ESPN. Jesus Christ, I'm not ESPN. I'm TGI Sports Talk. I guess I had a dream I was on ESPN last night, ESPN Radio. So thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow morning with Jack and with Jack Hirsch and Jack and the Keys Weekend Playbook. Likes Tampa as well. Survivor today. I took the Sea Hags. I'm leery about the Saints. I think you're all right with the Sea Hags. Wow, I appreciate you guys even more. Thank you so much. Michael with a lot of thank yous. Good to have you. Good to have you. Always fun to start the day with you guys. And we're off to some football myself. I'll see you tomorrow morning with Jack. Bye-bye, guys.